jump on really quick and do an updated video. So, earlier today, I did a video talking about how anxious I was because President Trump and everybody were going to speak about autism and what the cause of autism is. If you don't know, I'm a mom of a 6-year-old. He's on the spectrum. He is high functioning. I'm a lot um, more aware of probably some of the things they were discussing today than some people who are not researching autism. So I'm happy to help anyone who watched today and has questions. I'm not an expert by any means, but some of the things they were talking about today, I'm definitely familiar with. But anyway, I'm very blessed that I do not deal with some of the things that some of my friends as parents deal with. I have friends who have not been able to put their kids in public school because their child needs one-on-one attention. They cannot wear certain clothing because they have just sensory issues with the way things feel on their skin. Some of them can't sit still. They need to get up and move around every so often. And I mean, the list goes on. I'm very lucky that my son is able to attend school right now, but a lot of parents, for them, that is not normal, unfortunately. And some of them have had to leave their jobs to homeschool their kids. But anyway, getting back to today's presser, I'm not shocked by anything he said. I knew he was going to blame Tylenol, and I knew he was going to blame vaccines. I knew he was going to bring up the drug leucovorin today, and that is pretty much what I wanted to jump on here and talk about. Leucovorin is a drug that I have been researching for since about June of this year, and wow, a lot of people just jumped on. That's weird. I almost wonder if saying leucovorin, I don't know, spiked it out in the algorithm. But anyway, hey, Rick and Morty. So leucovorin is a drug that actually I started looking into because it was supposed to help with the aftermath of cancer chemotherapy treatment. And I was really suffering after going through chemotherapy myself. Then somehow I found out that there was a doctor in Arizona, and he was using this drug leucovorin to work with kids on the autism spectrum disorder. And he has been doing studies for years now with this medication. And in some of his studies, a lot of children on the spectrum started speaking and communicating a lot more, or for the first time ever, while on this medication. So one thing I want to tell parents through my research, and I'm not an expert, guys, I'm just giving some advice from someone who's done some research. There's a test that you should get called the FRAT test. Now, the FRAT test is going to give you a baseline if you or your child has a deficiency absorbing certain types of like a folate or the folic acid that you find in like leafy greens and beans. And apparently when some kids have autism, there's a blockage where they're not able to absorb. So they have a deficiency. Now this test, the FRAT, F-R-A-T test, will tell you if your child is showing signs where they are having this deficiency. And if they do, the leucovorin would be a good fit for them, and it might help them. It might not, but it might. So I just wanted people to know, if you want to do more research on that, There's a doctor in Arizona called Dr. Fry, and it's spelled Frye. And he's been doing research on the leucovorin drug for some time now, and he's found a lot of success with it. My fear with it is, what are the side effects? What are the long-term side effects of this medication and a child being on it? And I felt like today the drug's name was just thrown out there, and a lot of people are going to run to their pediatrician. And I am so blessed that my pediatrician for my child actually, when I brought it up to her, was like, I don't really know anything about this. I'm going to take a couple months and I'm going to research this for you. I'm going to talk to experts that I know and get you more information. And in the meantime, you do your research and I'll do mine. And she suggested going to see a pediatric development specialist. Now, here's the thing. So I went to go do that, right? It's not covered by insurance. And some neurologists, pediatric neurologists, are also not covered under insurance. And prescribing something like leucovorin, I'm sorry, but seems above a pediatrician's level. It seems like a neurological level. This is something a little more serious. So that is the struggle. So it would cost us $2,000 or more. I've been quoted by 3 different doctors just to go in for that initial conversation. And that is scary to think, to spend $2,000 to walk out of there and them say, I won't try the medication, or I don't believe the medication would be helpful, or I won't order the FRAT test for you. So I feel like today's press conference gave a lot of parents false hope that they're just going to walk into their pediatrician's office and get the leucovorin. And that isn't how it works, and that's not how it should work. It should not be something we're just like, hey, can we try this medication? Like I said, I think it's important to find out if your child has the deficiency in the first place and would benefit from the leucovorin, whatever you want to call it, before. And join a lot of groups. On Reddit, there's so many parents who have said this is a game changer for their kids. I'm not doubting it. But I walked away from today's press conference feeling like they just placed blame on 2 factors, Tylenol and vaccines, when autism has been around before those were even introduced into our society. Einstein is said to have been on the autism spectrum disorder. Like I said before, I don't know if it was on here or on TikTok, but I would really love if Elon Musk would just make some type of statement on what he thought about today's press conference, because he is very open about being on the autism spectrum. And I think if it would have came from him, and this is the funny thing, he seems to just always be around President Trump and doing something. And I just wish this was something he was a part of. And I wish it was something he wanted to be a part of, because he can probably understand it better than any of the people standing up there today. But anyway, jump on and share my thoughts. I want to know your thoughts, you guys. I hated hearing him say that autism was like a disease, a horrible, horrible thing. And I'm like, no, it's not a horrible, horrible thing. Are there hard days with my son? Absolutely. But also, my son is 6 years old, and I'm not joking, you guys. This kid has known all of his planets in all of his 50 states since he was 2 years old. And I'm not joking. I have the video proof of it. I won't post it because I don't post pictures and content of my kids. But yes, insightful. He couldn't. I didn't understand why he was the one up there giving the information. Honestly, I feel like Kennedy was more involved with this than any of them up there, and he should have been the first to speak on it, but he wasn't. Um, he was the one leading this. He should have spoken first, and I understand that, people are going to make fun of him because he does have like his neurological issues with the way he speaks. But just like, I feel like anyone could have went up there and I would have taken it without feeling offended, if that makes sense. And he was telling pregnant women to toughen up. Yeah, and that's so awful. And also, I cried last night, and I cried for other moms who may be struggling and laying in bed saying, what did I do to cause this? And I just want to say, there's nothing you did to cause this. There's nothing your husband did to cause this. I truly believe everything happens for a reason. And yes, there are really hard days, but my son is a blessing. He is so smart. He is so gifted. Are there things he struggles with socially? Sure, yeah. But one thing Donald Trump did not mention today is there are therapies you can do, natural things you can do to help your child. Speech therapy, didn't mention that. There's ABA therapy, which some people don't believe in. That's something we chose to do, and it was amazing. It did wonders. There were so many natural things you could try to do, and he didn't mention any of it. But I just wanted to jump on, share my thoughts, and I want to know what you guys think. And I am just hoping in the next couple days, maybe Elon Musk will give his opinion on today's presser, give his opinion on what he thinks, because I can promise you, so many of us are going to come out of the woodwork and say, didn't give my kid vaccines, didn't take Tylenol while I'm pregnant. Okay, then what is it? Explain it. Maybe it doesn't need an answer. Maybe the answer is we need to stop treating people like you're different. Can we just accept that some people are nonverbal? Some people feel differently, speak differently, act differently, and it is what it is. Why is ABA controversial? This is a great question. It is controversial because back in the day, like, I would say like before the 70s, they would do things that were not appropriate. Like, if a child was doing a bad behavior, they might spray them with a water bottle, or do something like that. When now ABA therapy is more play and friendly with kids, it's teaching, and then some people will, here's another reason why people think it's controversial. They will compare it to training a dog. But in society, let's be real. You do something, you earn a reward. What is wrong with teaching a child that at an early age? So I go to work, I get paid. I you know, am a productive member of society, I don't go to jail. I mean, what is wrong with teaching your child that if you do a behavior, you get a reward? Because that's really what life is. You work, you get your paycheck. You get your paycheck, you go buy yourself food. You buy yourself something nice. Like, I don't understand why some parents do consider it abuse. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's people out there who did have abusive therapy sessions, but that could be with anything. It could be with anything. Um, and Linda, yes, intervention is key. Thankfully, because of my mom and her background working with kids, she was able to notice some of these signs that I wasn't able to notice. I'll give you guys some examples. My son was not really responding to his name. Um, in the way like my daughter was at 6 months, where like, she would turn her head and look at me when I would call her. My son kind of just disassociated his name um, with him, if that makes sense. He was very obsessive over playing with wheels, lining toys up. That's something a lot of kids do. Not engaging with the other kids, but playing alone. um, very into learning in academics, but not doing imaginative play. And I noticed these things very early on at 6 months. So then I met with my pediatrician and was like, okay, what do we do? We got a referral, and we went to a place here in Atlanta called Marcus Autism Center, and we got an evaluation done by a psychiatrist. And I recommend that to all parents. If you are seeing these signs, the best thing you can do is early intervention. And not that you need to do anything about it, but it's good to know. Um, when you have that diagnosis, there are benefits you can get from the government if needed. There's programs. There are advantages for the school system to know your child's on the spectrum, because you might get more time for test taking. And the earlier you know, the earlier you can start speech therapy, occupational therapy, all of these types of natural therapies to help your child better. Um, or ABA therapy if you want to. If anyone wants to ask me questions about ABA, I'm more than happy to answer them. We have a great place here in Georgia that I could recommend. I understand there are people who've had bad experiences, but ABA is not what it was in the 70s. It's different. It's so different. So, um, Linda, I so agree with you. There could be so many problems. I can just tell you right now, I'm 41 years old. After I had my first child, I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which is an autoimmune disease. And then 2 years later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I can tell you there has to be something in my environment, whether it's something that happened when I was growing up or now, something has shifted. And there are so many millennials who are getting autoimmune diseases and cancer that that is like one thing that they really should be looking into. But I am seeing it over and over again in my social media feeds of people my age who are getting diagnosed also with different types of cancers. And it is scary. It's scary. Uh, Sometimes I do rack my brain. What caused it? Why did I get it? Why did I get it? Was it because I took a multiple sclerosis drug to make myself feel better? Could it have been too much caffeine from drinking coffee when I worked in a newsroom? Was it stress? Was it this? I mean, you can rack your brain up and down and up and down. But the fact is, I did my treatment. I'm good now. MS is something I will live with all my life. But I have to think there was something in the environment to cause this. I'll never know. I have to kind of let it go and let God. But anyway, I know I kind of went off on a tangent, but I definitely have planned to do more health videos. And I think today was a good start for me with this press conference because it got me fired up. It got me fired up today. But anyway, please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about the ABA therapy. I'm an open book. More than happy to answer questions for you. If any of you are parents watching this and you just want to connect with another parent who has a kid on the spectrum, please reach out. We all have to stick together. I learn more from other parents than I have ever learned from researching studies or medical, documents, things like that. I've just learned more from other parents' experiences than anything.